The betting markets really don't respect Tampa Bay very much, especially when we look at what this team has done over the last couple of years. You know, they were the 2020 Super Bowl champs, right? 2021, they had 14 wins. 2022, they had a bad year, 7-10. But last year, 4-7 start, 5-1 finish. NFC South champs for the third time in the last 4 years. In the fourth year, they were a wild card team. But this year, we're seeing Tampa line 7.5 wins. Yeah, juice to the over, but it's still not even 8 or 8.5 wins. It's 7.5 wins. They're lined as a losing team. Again, division champs 3 times the last 4 years and wild card the fourth year. The markets are expecting a decline. Hey guys, Teddy Covers from WagerTalk.com with an NFL team preview for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Doing all 32 NFL teams here in July, so you guys have a chance to get some good content early. There's so much bad content out there when it comes to the NFL. I hope I can give you guys some stuff that will actually help you make informed decisions about the teams that you're paying attention to right now, which today is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Todd Bowles returns as the head coach. It's his 6th year as a head coach at the NFL level. Obviously, coached for the Jets before he got here, and then now in Tampa. There's a new offense coordinator in Liam Cohen. Dave Canales now the Tampa Bay, not the Tampa Bay head coach. He's the Carolina head coach. They resigned all of their key free agents. This wasn't a team that made big splashy moves in the offseason. And again, they went 9-8 last year, but that was good enough to win the division. But you re-signed Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield, I think, for a guy who was, how do we describe Baker Mayfield? He was overhyped and then he was underhyped. You know, Mayfield was pretty good for Tampa last year. And he's a hungry quarterback. He is a guy who's digging deep trying to find ways to win. Is he great? No. Is he good? Yeah. And of course, certainly, when we talk about all the key free agents that they signed, Mike Evans comes back at wide receiver. Levante David comes back at linebacker. Antoine Winfield comes back at cornerback. The Pro Bowl left tackle, Tristan Wirfs, comes back. So they spent, even though you don't see the big flashy free agent moves for Tampa, I don't mind a team that keeps their homegrown players there, especially when those guys were pretty good last year. You know, all the key free agents signed. All right, so what they picked? The number 1 draft choice, Grant Barton, the center out of Duke, offensive line. And if you're watching these videos, you know a strong offensive line and a strong defensive line makes for a strong football team. I don't mind at all when teams put high-level resources into offensive, defensive line. And obviously, you got Tristan Wirfs on the one side, and now potentially a stud center in Barton. Good things. This wasn't a great offensive line last year. Mayfield, his net was, 6.3 yards per pass attempt. Although, worth noting, Brady's net was 5.9 yards per pass attempt the year before. So, Mayfield was better than Brady in terms of one key QB metric last year. Worth noting also, Chris Godwin battled injuries last year at wide receiver. He is supposed to be healthy this time around. Again, is this an elite offense? No. Is it league average? A little bit better than league average? Yeah, I think so. Tampa's decent to good on the offensive side of the football. Talk about their defense and schedule in just a minute. First, I do want to let you guys know about 2 things. One, I'm going to ask you for something. I am. Can you give me a like? Done. Problem solved. If you like this content, give me a like. If you don't worry about it. But if you like it, it makes all the difference in the YouTube algorithms. We appreciate it very much. If you want to comment below, I'll be back throughout July and checking out your comments, replying to as many as I can. There's a lot of videos. I can't promise I can reply to every comment everyone leaves in every video, but I'll be back to check out the comments for sure and answer as many questions as I possibly can. And of course, if you want to take advantage of my NFL season win report, 100 wins, 50 losses, 3 pushes since I first started putting out that report back in 2001. I'm getting old, guys. But in the 23 years, I think it's 23 years, I put it out. 67%, 16-4, 80% with the 5% big ticket plays. My report is available right now. That's where all this content is coming from. I like to do my NFL work early June and early July. That's why we're putting all the videos out now while it's still fresh for me and while the win report is still hot off the presses and you can get the numbers. Take $20 off this year's NFL season win report. Just use promo code REPORT20 at checkout. Visit my page, wt.buzz/TC. Visit the website, wagertalk.com. and use promo code REPORT20 to take $20 off the 2024 NFL season win report that has 5 selections, including a 5% big ticket play. And we may add more after week 2 or week 3 of the preseason, depending on how things play out. I'm not going to promise we're going to add more. I'm not going to say we're not. We'll have to see. But there is a potential for an additional add-on or 2 after week 2 or week 3 of the preseason. So Tampa last year, again, decent offensively. They were decent defensively as well. I mean, you got Vita Vea, he's a stud at defensive tackle. They had picked in Randy Gregory as a free agent. Edge rush is something of a concern. Second rounder Chris Braswell out of Alabama is good. They had the rookie last year at 7.5 sacks. But this isn't a loaded pass rush. They lost Carlton Davis in the offseason, and they lost free agent linebacker Devin White as well. Those are concerns, but they added Jordan Whitehead, former Buck, from the Jets. Again, we look at this defense for Tampa. They're okay. It's not elite. I don't think they're going to shut everybody down, but I'm not looking at this defense as a unit, and especially with Bowles is such a defensive-minded head coach. Tampa's defense, you ask me right now, I say it'll be around league average. Tampa's offense, going to be around league average. So we look at the schedule, all right? I mean, the biggest issue for Tampa, in my mind, is the depth, all right? They're decent, they're pretty good, but if injuries strike, the Bucs are going to have a long year. I'll tell you that flat out, because while their starting talent is there, there's a pretty big drop-off. And that's something I'm going to pay, when we talk about what I like to pay attention to in the preseason, I pay a lot of attention when the second stringers get on the field. Now the first stringers will play a series and they'll be off. When the second stringers are on, these are guys who, in theory, will get playing time this year. So I look for a second string offense that can move the football. I look for a second string defense that can get stops. And I'm trying to highlight certain players as I'm watching these. That's why I watch a ton of preseason. Look at those second stringers and focus on those second stringers. That'll tell you which teams have quality depth and which don't. Tampa's depth issues, in my mind, a big concern here. And the biggest reason why I wouldn't play them over the total. Schedule-wise, 9 home games, 8 road games. That's a positive. They get 1 Sunday night, 1 Monday night, so the league's not burying them. The NFC South plays NFC East and AFC West foes. But look at their 3 extra games. And this is why I ain't playing Tampa over the win total. Baltimore, Detroit, San Francisco. That's as tough with 3 extras as you'll find anybody has. They'll be dogs in all 3 of those games. I would expect they'll lose all 3 of those games. So, they have a tough start as well. They start with Washington, fairly easy. At Detroit, they got Philly, at Atlanta, at New Orleans, Baltimore, Atlanta again, KC, San Fran. That's all before the bye. So, much like last year, I would not be shocked if Tampa gets off to a fairly slow start. It's a brutal slate early. The question is, can they put together a late season run like they did a year ago? I see this team finishing around 500, 8-9, 9-8, which has me lean over, but not with the schedule wise. Maybe it might be more like 7-10. That being said, we haven't seen the betting market respect for Tampa. If they're as good as they were last year, their team have potential to make money with. Thank you so much for taking time to watch these NFL preview videos. If you like them, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it so much. It makes all the difference. Of course, you can follow the Wager Talk YouTube channel. You can take advantage of any of my packages, wt.buzz/TC, or just visit wagertalk.com. NFC West, coming up next. Pick another video. They're right here on your screen. All 32 NFL teams previewed in July, in early July. You're welcome. Have a great day.